Miss Sawyer, let me introduce myself. My name is Bob Allen, and I live in Inez, Kentucky, which is one of the small towns that you featured in your news report, The Hidden America. I'm a mathematics teacher at Sheldon Clark High School, and I have lived here for my entire life. I have to say that I was impressed with your news show. Everything you said was the truth. Yes, we have a very serious drug addiction problem in Central Appalachia. Yes, we have children who live in extreme poverty. Yes, sometimes our schools graduate students who are not emotionally and in some cases not academically ready to go on to college. And although I wouldn't blame it on Mountain Dew, uh, we do have some people who are in need of some dental work. The problem that I have with your report is the circumstances you documented only apply to a small percentage of the people who call these mountains home. You failed to mention the thousands of high school students who graduate every year and go off to college, earn degrees, and become productive citizens. You failed to mention the thousands of hardworking Appalachian people who fight every day to rid our streets and roads and communities of drug addiction. You failed to mention that many of these people who are addicted to drugs are receiving their prescriptions from pain clinics, doctors with questionable integrity who live in Florida, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and other larger metropolitan areas. I hold a master's degree in mathematics education. My wife, an elementary teacher, holds a master's degree in elementary education. Ironically, the little girl that you featured in your show, Courtney, was in my wife's third grade class last year. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the children of Appalachia are not forgotten. Every child has the same chance to succeed. Our school system makes sure of this. Each school has a resource center which supplies clothing, which supplies school supplies, counseling, and other needed necessities that these kids might need in order to succeed. Even though your report gave America a glimpse of Central Appalachia, it also sent a message that this is the way we all live. I'm not surprised, though. I hate to break the news to you, but you're not the first person to come to Appalachia and do this kind of report. In fact, anytime a network needs a ratings boost, they usually send a nationally known reporter into the area to report on those poor, backward, illiterate people. What do you think would happen if a news reporter went to New York City and focused on a young 12, 13-year-old girl whose mother has forced her into prostitution to earn money to help pay for the mother's heroin addiction? And this report made it appear that this was the norm, that this is the way every child lived in New York City. Or what would you think if a news reporter went to Los Angeles and profiled a young black boy who was being initiated into a gang? He was foregoing high school, and his main goal was to kill somebody randomly to pass the initiation test. Of course, we know what would happen. This would never make it past the executive's desk. Why? Because of the backlash that they would receive. The problem is, Appalachia is so much smaller in population than Los Angeles and New York City. So if a few people or even a few thousand people complain, no one really cares. Miss Sawyer, I ask you, I invite you to come back to Appalachia, come back to Inez, and let's look at the real Appalachia. Let's focus on the positive. Let's look and see what we're doing to try to better our community. Let's look at what the schools are trying to do to help these kids succeed and get a better life. Let's focus on what we're doing to try to rid our community of drugs and to help those, to rehabilitate those who are addicted. Now, this is something that is very, very near and dear to my heart. 4 years ago, my parents were murdered in their own home. Two drug addicts broke into their home, killed them, because my mother had been battling cancer. And they thought that Oxycontin was, in the home. Once they found out that there was no Oxycontin in the home and no strong pain pills in the home, I guess in a fit of rage, they set the house on fire and burn it down. If Appalachia is ever going to gain the respect of the nation, we have to start focusing on the positive, not the negative. The news media has to stop using us as a means to garner higher ratings. Sure, the positive news is probably not near as exciting as the negative, but who hurts? We do. We're the people who are being hurt by this. In closing, Miss Sawyer, I do hope you've had a chance to view this, and I do apologize for not taking the time to provide subtitles at the bottom. I know it must be really, really hard to understand my Appalachian dialect. Thank you.